One, two, one, two. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This your boy Samin. I am the host of the Sam I Is show. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me just a little bit. It's early, late-ish right now. What is it? Today is Thursday. We had a snow day, so Cyan was with me hanging out all day, and that's pretty good. Except she wanted to go out and play in the snow, which is that could be a lot of fun. The snow was good as well for snowballs. But we were stepping out. So the HOA cleaned up all the snow. The town is really a snow town. It's like, so it's clean as far as driving and going places and maneuvering. But it was a lot of piled up snow around the curb. And so I couldn't figure out where the curb started and where it ended. So I had to walk all the way to the corner. And she clowned me the whole time. She clowned me the whole time. And I was like, "That's what we're doing." She was like, "This," and she hopped over into the street, and I'm like, "Yo, you young and you got young bones. You fall, it's nothing. If I fall, it's gonna be a problem." So I realized I'm at that age, and also my body conditioning is like with my leg limitations. I was like, "This looks like something I don't want." I go to emergency, in the hospital, or the catastrophe. I catastrophized the whole situation. It wasn't that serious, but for me, it was like it's that serious. So I wanted to talk about a few things today. What is it? To thyself be true. But before I really get into talking about any of that, I have for many reasons been really talking about my resistance, my resignation, no, yeah, my resignation around the possibility of taking a vaccine for COVID. And for me, I think, well, first for me, I don't have COVID, and so that, just to be clear, I don't have COVID, so I have the luxury of saying a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Well, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. Well, I wouldn't. But I have a lot of baggage of history of conversations and things that have happened, factual things that have happened pertaining to the mistreatment of people of color by the government, and medical things that some of you may know, some of you may not know. But this is not a new conversation. The misdiagnosis of a kid who might be super talented but is not being stimulated. Now all of a sudden he's in a special needs class. There's enough over medicating kids. It's some things out here that happen to a certain group of people that I happen to be a part of. So that's where my initial resignation with the idea of hopping on this medicine. I'm not so much about how quick they made it and anything like that. None of that is it. It's just it's possible. It's possible that it could be. Now the reality is most likely it's nothing, right? And I've seen that there's been a big push in the world of pushing black people, because I'm not the only person saying this. I think I would say more than half of us black people, I've talked to them, right? I've had a conversation with the black people, and we have definitely agreed. That's not true, but just the feeling is mutual that people are not trusting. For everybody has their own reasons, but now there's a push talking specifically to people of color, black people, right? Because there's a lot of different colors, and that's an overused statement, an overused term to describe people of color. You know, I'm talking mainly to about I'm talking about black people. So there's a fear of taking this medication, and I don't think there's been a conversation from the other side. You know, I see medical reaching out. There's this whole, I saw the thing on Instagram, this beautiful written letter, dear black people, dear black America. This whole thing, which is just something. There's never been a cleanup for. They're not there hasn't been a cleanup for the fear. They're not saying that I'm ridiculous for having that fear, but they're also not saying, listen, I understand you have a fear because of bop, 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 bop. That was crazy. This is not what we're doing. This is a pandemic. This is new. We would never do that to you're American. Like a real cleanup. That's not what's happening. There's this like, knock it off. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. People who've said that to me. My wife used to say that a lot. You'll be fine. A couple of other people said it too, and it wasn't fine though. She said it was fine. It was rough, but it was fine. But when other people say that to me, I'm just like, how do you know it'd be fine? So that was what I wanted to say. So if I had COVID and I was lucky enough to get the medicine, I'll probably take it if I had it. But I don't. So I have the luxury of saying, I ain't taking that. I'm not taking it. But it's different because I don't have it. You understand? So I just wanted to make that clear because I see that people are dying at a really high rate. And not that people are not taking them, had a chance. And they were like, well, Samin said none of that's happening, right? None of that is happening. But I'm getting that there's a vibe. And when 3,000 people, 2,800, like when every day for the last month, the amount of people who died in the World Trade Center bombing, like it's alarming. It's alarming. You know, I still sleep every night. You know, it's alarming over there, that type of thing. Like I still gotta iron my daughter's sweater. You know, I still gotta do all the normal things that I normally have to do. But I'm aware that that's a lot of people to be dying. And with all the death that's happening, it actually hasn't impacted my life. My brother's ex-wife's mother died maybe because of something with COVID. And Debo, you know what I mean? Like in Debo, that's the impact on my life. Like, oh, Debo died. And that's, again, he didn't die from COVID, but he had COVID. And now they're saying he died from some complications to his lungs that he got from COVID. So COVID is real. And it's easy for me to say I wouldn't take it because I don't have it. You know, if I had it, I would probably have a different conversation. And I don't want to have a different conversation because I don't want to get it. And I am masked up. You know, I walk my dog with a mask. I've altered my state of being around with this stuff. So that's something I just wanted to clean that up because it was like, oh, well, you know, just throwing stuff out there, but I want to be responsible for that because that's not all good. Right? So to thyself be true. I remember once my daughter was she was 3 or 4. We were in the 14th Street Y in Manhattan. It's a Jewish preschool. She was one of the only black kids and all of that stuff, right? And the majority of the caregivers were West Indian. And I remember there was this one time where they saw Cyan and she had these little ponytails and it was like, not ponytails, pom-poms. And she looked so cute and she was walking I took her to the bathroom and she was walking from the bathroom to the classroom, and before she got to the classroom, they started to talk to her. And they were like, oh my God, you're so cute. And she was like, thank you. And they were like going on about the shirt and the buttons and all this stuff. And she just kind of looked at them and then looked at me and then walked away, right? And I was like, okay. So they looked at me. And they wanted something. I knew they wanted something more than that. And I don't know. I have my own story about what it was and what they sacrificed to be here and blah, blah, blah. I don't know any of that to be true. I know a few people leave their families at home and then come here to make a living and all that stuff. But it was something they wanted from her and they didn't get it. And they looked at me disappointed. And I looked at them like, what do you want? And I kept it moving. And I was wondering, like, with that, right? Like, what did you want from me? What do you want me to do about that? What story are you creating about me parenting my daughter because she didn't talk to you, stranger, and give you anything? That's one. Then there was once with a family member, like an in-law family member, who wanted to hug Cyan. And Cyan, I was gonna say she did the boneless. Cyan wasn't, she wasn't really interested, right? She wasn't interested. And they looked over at me, do what you gotta do. Just do it. Just do it. That's yeah. Um that's excuse me, that right there. So they wanted, I'm home. I'm home and everybody's home and we still figuring out the space. So people creep in sometimes. Like that with a plate. And it's like that's more distracting than just like coming in. You might as well just throw the plate in. But my girlfriend was doing that walk, and it's just like, just get it and let's rock. So she wanted to hug her, and Cyan didn't want to hug her. And I guess I don't know. I think she felt some sort of way about that. And she says, "Well, she's not a huggy kid." I was like, "No, she's huggy. She's huggy." I'm like, "She doesn't know you. She doesn't know you. Like, you know her mom, right? You were connected to her mom. She doesn't know you. She's 2, 3 years old. She doesn't know you. And what is it that you want me to do about that, right? What do you want me to do about that?" So it's very early on I realized that I wasn't going to be interested in parenting my kid for other people. I'm not interested in showing you I'm parenting her a certain way. I'm not going to discipline her out in the public so that a person can see, look at me, I'm parenting her for what she just. No, I do not parent my kid for anybody ever, right? That's just my way of being in the world of parenting. And I see it. I come from the communities where parents parent their kids in public. I've never been interested in that, right? But really, what's up for me with this whole thing of thyself be true? The other day I realized I listened back to one of these entries, one of these videos, and I could hear myself thinking. I'm like, okay, by the way I'm speaking, it's like and I'm listening. I'm like, what is that? Then I'm getting that. I'm clear. I'm thinking that I don't want to offend anybody. And I don't. And I really don't. Now I asked Cyan to give me a glass of water. She gave me a mug. This is water. Excuse me. And it says, I love you. I always will. That's nice to read. I drink coffee in that. That's pretty nice. Right? So, did I just lose my frame of mind? I was listening to myself, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you? I do not want to offend. And I'm like, well, you're not offensive. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm really getting and gathering that, I want to be safe. I want to be safe. Now, I could normally come from that space of, but I know I do. You know what I mean? And that's I don't know if that's just a defect with me. I don't know if that's a defect with how I was raised, but it's that space of, I don't, but I really do. And what I come to realize with my whole idea. Now, I've had lots of time where I really didn't care, but I really do. That's the thing, I really do. And then I started to check. So what is that, Samin? And it was like, well, maybe it's the fact that I'm afraid to care, to get involved with the responsibility of caring, because I can't control the situation and I have no control of the outcome. So there's a detachment from the whole thing. So that's people, places, and things. And I lived a lot of my life with that approach of, I don't care, doesn't matter. Now, and I've said it here, like certain things I just don't care about. Really, what I'm saying is, I don't care to have that conversation because I'm not gonna. I don't want to say all the words, right? Well, Cyan, I really don't care about the friend that you're telling me about because that's her situation, and you're just gossiping about something. And it's really not important to me. That's a lot to say to a 10-year-old. what really works is I don't care. Because all I'm listening for is the impact on her. Is it impact on you? Or are you just gossiping? Or are you just talking? Because she talks. I mean, she talks for real. She could out talk me. And that's not a game. She can talk. So I'm always checking to see, like, should I stop cutting the onions and put the knife down and come and have a talk with you? Or is this, could I continue cooking? And she'll tell me. But just that whole space of I don't care and caring too much. And today just really hit me like, well, what would it be like to just not care? Like, what would it be like to like get right? Like, did you ever see Network? Did you ever see the movie Network? It's an old movie with Faye Dunaway, and that's it. Those are the players. I know her. She was in it, and some other men. He was on it. He was a newscaster, and I think he got possessed or something happened, and he just started telling the truth. He just started telling the truth. Now, there's something fantastic about that liberty, that liberties that comes with that, and the freedom that comes with that. There was a moment that I looked at Kanye like that, like, George Bush doesn't care about black people. That was the truth, and then that went somewhere else, right? So there's a thin line between that level of crazy and that level of freedom, and then there's a freedom. There's a freedom. But not like a fake freedom. Like, I don't care about anything. I don't care about anybody. That's to me, for who I am in the world, that's not real. That's not real because I do care. And then also that's not real, right? How does that work? I care about every little thing. Like I live a life that I want to be touched by seeing something like a flower and be emotional, or seeing like a little kid in another, like just being touched by all spaces is really the goal, but I'm not. I'm very resigned. And I have to be. 3,000 people died today, right? I choose not to be connected to that number, because if I really got the impact of what that really represented, how could I not be crying? How could I not cry? 3,000 people died today, yesterday, the day before. Like how could I not? But I'm resigned to caring. Like it's not me. It would have to be one person in my personal life that would impact me. But if in my goal of goals, if I'm connected to all, if we're all connected, which we are, no matter what color we are or not color we are, we're all supposed to be connected somehow. And I find that I've been in a space of trying to say the right things. And I do that just in my life. I'm in places and with people that, remember, my first thought doesn't work, right? The first thought doesn't work. Now, maybe it does somewhere, though. It does somewhere. But coffee mug is first thought. Sometimes the coffee mug is first thought. Now, there will be a time that thought will be perfect. But the chances of that happening are very, like, little to none. But if it ever does, trust me, I have the thought with the coffee mug, right? That's the first. But for now, I'm so working it down. Nope, second, third. It's the same thing that I'm all in all I'm really getting at today is like, I'm wondering, is there like a breakthrough that I need to work on? And I'm sharing it here, right? Do I need to work on a breakthrough where I can like be freed up even more? Because I am freed up. I enjoy this. It's not work. It's not like, oh my God. It's not like I'm heckling Jekyll and Hyde. Well, Heckle and Jekyll are the two black racist crows, right? Yeah, remember Heckle Jekyll? And Jekyll and Hyde is the doctor with the good doctor and the bad doctor. That slip right there. The Heckle and Jekyll, the racist crows that you will never see again, that I grew up watching, and because they were just these rude little black crows, right? So, but I'm not Heckle and Jekyll, or I'm not Jekyll and Heckle, or Jekyll and Hyde, right? I am this, but I'm just the thinking of it and thinking about, do I care? Yeah, I care. How much am I willing to care? How much can I afford to care? Do I just need a kid? Do I have to preserve caring for my daughter, my girlfriend, the parents? I have some deaths coming up eventually. I'd imagine. It's not like I know anything. Got some people in my circle that are like 80 something years old. Surely they'll be dying in the next 20 years. I don't know, but I'm prepared. And that's assuming that I'm around, right? But I have some reserve for that, and I have some expectations. And I'm like siphoning it out slowly and surely. Just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. But what would it be like to just be and just be and not not fear the consequences of hurting somebody's feelings or putting myself out to be vulnerable, to be critiqued or criticized, or to say the wrong thing. You know what I mean? It's just like so many opportunities to do something that's like, it's hard to clean up certain things, So, but I'm requesting of myself to get to the space where it's just like open, but authentically, not the, I don't care about nothing. I care. I really do care. And that's something that I have to get to myself. Like, no, you care. And it's okay that you care. And it's okay that you want to hit this dude in the head with a mug. Just don't do it. Just, just don't do it. Unless it has to happen, and it might have to happen. But I don't know. It won't happen. It won't happen. Anyway, I'm looking at the time. Where are we for time? We are 22 minutes in. I have a new pop filter. Can you hear the difference? Do I sound a little bit lower? I don't know. I'm supposed to practice. I just got it. I ordered it a couple days ago. It just came. And the rules are you're never supposed to use anything the first time you get it without testing it. This is my test right now. And I don't know how it sounds. And I'll have to hear how it sounds when I listen back. But I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me. That's an alarm for a meeting. I lead at 8 o'clock, but I don't lead it anymore because it got transferred to somebody else. I lead on Monday nights now, so I don't do Thursday. And so that's it. That was it for me. Those are the things that came up for me. But to be true to me and wondering, like sometimes I have it. Sometimes I'm like the lid is off. And then it's like, whoa, not, let's just put a little bit of it's too much coming out. Remember for my New York people, you remember the hydrant and all that water gushing out, and then you get that can and you shoot the water all around, and what does it look like to just let it go? That's the goal. That's the goal. And I don't know what that looks like, but that's not just the goal for like talking. That's the goal for the idea of freedom. That's the idea for letting it all go, for being that connected and that vulnerable. Because vulnerability is so important. To be vulnerable, to put myself out there, to be seen. I was gonna say to be judged, but nah. That's the critic. Everybody could judge, right? Anybody could judge, but to be seen and to be seen how I really am. Not to who I think I am. Not who I need to be, when I'm out there, but who I actually am. And I get glimpses of it. I'm not always that. Because it's risky to put that hard out there. I put it out and been my hand smacked back. But my goal right now, I'm putting it out there. That might be my New Year's resolution, to just keep working to be freed up and just open and vulnerable to see what that actually looks like without worrying about like having a back door with it. Like the plan to be in a relationship and not be separating. Well, we put our counts together, but I'm just keep this on what does that look like to not have a little bit for the just in case? You know what I'm saying? I live life with a lot of, this is great. Yeah, I'm all in. Except for this my little 9/11 bag packed just in case. What does that look like? Because if I got a just in case, then I'm waiting for just in case. Anyway, I'm going to get up out of here. Love, love, love your daughters. Tell me if I sound any different. I don't know. Anyway, take great care of yourself. Love, love, love your daughters. Thank you for hanging out with me on this Thursday night. There's nothing special about this. Wednesday is hump day. Friday is the weekend, basically. Tuesday is Can We Talk Tuesday. I don't know. Thursday. Almost there. We almost there Thursday. But I'm going to get up off this jack. Whoa, what was that? Something just hopped on my screen. See? This is why I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me just a little bit right now. I'm going to get up out of here. Peace. Love, love, love your daughters. Like really, 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 really do. Really. Because I'm loving mine. And she is, you should have seen her jumping. And she went out with no gloves on and no scarf. See, she be hanging around them people. She thinks it's a game. Your boy had everything on. You would have thought I was in Antarctica. I wasn't playing. It's not a game for me. I get so cold. I got some issues with my white platelets. I am like a sickly little old woman sometimes. But I'm like, is that window over there a draft? So I was good today. I was fantastic. Anyway, take good care of yourself. I'll talk with you soon. Peace.